So now that you've completed steps 1 and 2 of the unwrapping process, you're ready to proceed with steps 3 and 4, which include analyzing the target and determining big ideas and essential questions.
So what we've done so far is step 1, we focused on the key words, which we circled, and underlined the concepts and put brackets around what context we were going to use it in. In step 2, we started mapping out what each of these looks like. And then finally, step 3 is what we're focusing on today, which is analyzing our targets using our DOK.
In moving forward, you'll be using the DOK for assessment. And so when you are ready for this process and this next step, you want to make sure that your PLC identifies the levels of understanding for an assessment item, the common vocabulary used to build consensus, and also understand that all levels in the DOK are equally important. As you work through this process, you'll want to refer to the strong verbs in your depth of knowledge guide in the TMS PLC 2015-2016 folder under C, Unwrapping Power Standards.
So to illustrate this, we went back to the driver's ed example and how we use DOK. So you can see over in the right-hand column where it says analyzing the targets using the DOK. Remember that we were talking about the dangers and problems posed by poor weather conditions. And so we talked about the context being both in the classroom and on the road. So we said that in the classroom, DOK, we would use DOK 1, which is a basic recall. But if we were outside driving, we would use DOK level 3, which is actually strategic thinking. And then if you remember, we had another skill also, which was adapting and matching road conditions to driving techniques appropriately. So again, same thing, DOK 1 would be used in the classroom, which would be basic recall, and then DOK 3, which is strategic thinking out on the road. Now, just keep in mind that we didn't skip level 2. We naturally do that in the classroom while you're practicing for these assessments. So we're actually using all of the 3 levels, but we're just assessing on 1 and 3.
As we move forward with step 4, something very important happens here. We will establish essential questions and big ideas both. We need to really understand the purpose of that because it too is very important. In doing essential questions and big ideas, we hope to assist students in gaining the deeper understanding of content and skill. We also hope to assist you, the teacher, in focusing your teaching on helping students gain that deeper understanding. And finally, for all involved, a better understanding of the big picture. Establishing essential questions will lead students to the big idea. And it's a concept that we use all the time. Questions drive what we do. So now your PLC will investigate the criteria of good essential questions. And also the criteria for writing big ideas.
So this is an example of turning an essential question into a big idea. So the question is, how can a structure of a text help us understand information? And the big idea that we would want students to walk away with would be identifying the structure of the text improves comprehension.
Another content example might come from a science classroom. And the essential question would be, how does the position of the Earth in the solar system affect the conditions on the planet? And finally, the big idea, conditions on Earth are directly impacted by its position in the solar system.
Our final example is a math question. So the essential question might be, how is estimation helpful to us? And the big idea we would want the students to walk away with is, estimation helps us determine if an answer is reasonable. So finally, we're back to our driver's ed example. And so if we're developing essential questions and big ideas for our driving and road conditions example, our essential question might be, how does a driver adapt to different road conditions? And our big idea might be, good drivers assess and adapt to various road conditions. So once again, this is the location of where you're going to find your resources. TMS PLC Work 2015-2016 folder.
So now what? You're almost done. The last thing your PLC needs to do is to ask yourself a couple more significant questions. Do you feel that your team has a clear direction on the concepts and skills that will be taught and assessed? And did you get clarity on the academic language you want to reinforce in your instruction?